What is going on, everybody? We're back with another episode 3 of Real Fans FC. Me, myself, Julian, alongside my co-host Adam and Tyler. Adam, say what's up to the people.
Yo, we're back.
Tyler.
We're back.
Yo, back after a 2-week hiatus. It's good to be back.
Tyler had a 2-week hiatus, but he's back and we're ready for action. Let's get into it. Talking about Adam's favorite MLS team at the moment. He loves talking about it.
Oh my goodness.
St. Louis City SC, right now number 1 in the table for the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference, overall MLS table. The only team with 9 points, and it's the expansion club, their first year. Absolutely wild. Adam, what are your takeaways from St. Louis? We talked a little bit about them last week, but are you still on the hype train?
Well, you have to believe in the hype train now. You have to. I mean, wow, they go to a place like Portland. They're the only team now undefeated in the league. Have to believe in them. What they've done this early part of the season, and again, it's a long season, and we've seen that anybody can lose to anybody at this point, but you know, it has to be said. That is special what they've accomplished in 3 games.
And I mean, all right, you beat Austin, which is a solid team, but they had a big blunder. Charlotte turning out to be an awful team. And then you beat Portland, which is actually another solid team that are expecting big things this year. So to do what they've done is actually really big. And it's crazy because I feel like they're setting the bar for what expansion teams should do coming into the season. Like, I was seeing something that they were signing players 6 months before the season started, and they had them come into town and start training and implementing systems and kind of understanding each other's play style, which is something I learned about like literally a couple of days ago. That I realized, like, wow, they were like hella prepared coming into this season. They had their roster set early, which we cannot say was the same for Miami when we came into the league. They had their formation set. They had everything ready to go. I mean, even to like last year, they had St. Louis City 2 in place, ready to come into the season, which he had a lot of players getting ready for. Like, to see what they've put together is honestly like world class in their first year ever of playing, to like this, to bring this project together. It shows how much passion the owners have for the team. And it's good to see St. Louis actually have an owner that has passion for one of their teams. But Tyler, I see you grubbing over there. What do you think of St. Louis so far?
I mean, bro, there's not really much to say other than like, wow. I mean, newest team, 9 points overall, leading MLS. I mean, you gotta be on the hype train. I don't care who you're a fan of, to be honest. Like, I'm rooting for him, to be honest with you. I mean, it's like St. Louis. I mean, obviously you got the Chiefs, so it's like now you have another sports team that's like on the map, especially in their 3rd week of being a professional organization. It's like, I mean, bro, I'm rooting for him. Mind you, I think week 1 was a little lucky. Me, myself, I didn't catch week 2 against Portland, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like, overall, it's like, you gotta give them props, bro. Miami's not doing that for sure, so...
Well, it's cool too because like even like their DPs are showing out. Like Klaus, like this guy, I never even heard of this man, but he's been kind of lighting up MLS. Honestly, he's gotten 2 goals already. I believe 2 assists in 3 games. Like, not bad. They see our former Inter Miami player Indiana Vassilev. They have him as a central defending midfielder. Curious how that's going to work out, but yeah, man. I mean, like, what more can you ask for?
Yeah, it's working out for them right now. Like I said, you know, it's a long season. It's not like in months' time, I think we'll be talking about, oh my God, St. Louis still haven't lost the game and they're perfect. Their time will come. But
every time
I
Adam
think I
says
think
that, they win
yeah.
another one.
Well then then the St. Louis fans will love me then. And that's fine. Then I'll be their best
I mean,
friend
it's a
and tell
perfect
'em that
example about me though. I said,
I'll
oh,
be
the
I'll be,
Inter Miami revenge tour starts. We go 2-0, and then we know what happened week 3. So
yeah, it was similar for me,
But
but we'll get into that. Um, but I think
they
Julian
got
said it
San
best though.
Jose.
But
Oh, go
real
ahead.
quick though on St. Louis, I think Julian said it best about the fact that they were not just okay, let's slap this team together and figure it out as we go along, and they didn't have the pressure of big signings like Miami did, which made them get their team together late. They had that figured out quickly. They've hit the ground running because of it. They didn't have to do all this figuring it out because they took care of that over the off season when they were finalizing their club. So I like what
And
we're seeing from them. They're going to be a very good team this year. Who knows how far they will go?
I don't know if you guys know, they have strong German background, like Bundesliga background, and they're really trying to grow that club like we've seen over in Germany. Like I think their sporting director played in the Bundesliga. A lot of the players they recruited were from the Bundesliga. They're really trying to replicate that method and bring it over here. So it's obviously working, and we'll see how they can do it long term. Adam still is not on the he's semi on the hype train. Even though he doesn't like to say that he is fully, but he's on it.
They're a good team. They're gonna
Anyways,
make. I think they're gonna make the playoffs.
yeah, I'm looking
all
up
right,
right
you
now.
can a 19 playoff. I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
How can you
that's
not?
not a. Yeah, I guess that's not a bold claim, but we'll see how it goes.
I mean, the last team to really start off that strong I can think of was like Atlanta. When Atlanta came into the league, they were super
Yeah,
strong.
yeah,
I mean, I think they won the MLS Cup like the next year later.
yeah. They came in with a good foundation as well, good support. They had the right pieces in place, so
Right.
that's a
Well,
good that's a good it's a good comparison.
yeah. So let's move on to our hometown team, Inter Miami. Inter Miami loses on the road to New York City FC on their foosball table of a field. Man, I swear Apple TV makes that field look even smaller. Like I always thought it was small, but like seeing and then the camera angles just suck. It's too low. It's not high enough. It's just it's such a bad venue.
You're
The
playing
good thing is at least
soccer
there's
in a baseball purpose-built stadium. It
Where
is
Aaron
just
Judge breaks home run records.
yeah, it doesn't.
no
It just doesn't make sense.
in a hitter stadium. That's like those walls are that's a smaller stadium.
Yeah,
Like that's a
I mean,
hitter
yeah,
stadium. Like no wonder
yeah.
like I've never been there, but one of my good friends, he's from New York. He's a diehard Yankee fan, and we go to Marlins Park, and he's obviously been to Yankee Stadium a bunch of times. He's like Yankee Stadium's a lot smaller than Marlins Park. He's like it's a hitter's park, so that even puts it even more perspective of like how small that field really is. I think I saw something that it's a total like square like I think on the width you're losing about 15 feet on each side. Like that's how much skiing area was, and you could see like when you saw Yedlin and Negri on like the wings, it was just there's like no space. It's insane. But the big news coming out after that game is the fact that Inter Miami has lost their captain Gregore to a Liz Frank injury, and it's obviously not a very common injury here in soccer. And I've been seeing a lot of people not really know what the injury is. I do want to like say, like as somebody, I'm a big American football fan, so that injury is pretty normal. So to put it in perspective for people who don't really understand it, so the Liz Frank injury is like probably it's a weight bearing injury, so something that you really put a lot of your weight on when you stand. It's like in between your ankle and like the top of your foot. And as a Jaguar fan, we've actually had two players that had Liz Frank injuries. One Maurice Jones-Drew and one last year, Travis Etienne. Maurice
Both
Jones-Drew
running
was
backs.
back in the early 2010s. He had a Liz Frank injury, was never the same. He was older, though, and the technology wasn't quite as there yet. Travis Etienne, this was last year. He was a lot younger. He was 22, I think, or 23, and he came back better than ever. Gregore is 29 years old. The one thing that is for sure is he's out for the season. He's not coming back. He's not going to be
Yeah, I
able to
think they
stand
said
up
6 months.
without pain for at least 8 months. I mean, and then on top of that, and then to get back into fitness and playing shape, and that's if he comes back normal and it's not too bad or severe of a Lisfranc injury. Like, I don't know. With modern medicine, things have gotten better in regards to that surgery, but even though 29 is not super old, it's not 23 either. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
it's kind of tough, and
It's
it's kind of hard to see what the future. And I do want to send it over to you, Adam. Like, how do you think Phil Neville goes about replacing the team captain? Who's going to be the captain, and how is he going to change the formation going forward? And who do you think is going to come in?
now there's probably a few candidates in terms of captaincy. One that I can think of off the top of my head is Yedlin. I think he could definitely be given that armband. He's very experienced. He's definitely someone in that locker room who's seen as a leader. I think he would be a bad choice. In terms of solutions, it depends. You know, if it was me, I would find a way to have Pizarro and Mota kind of, you don't need. Yes, it hurts to have Gregory out, but have them plug up the midfield in the middle, and then have Bryce Duke maybe play as a more advanced midfielder in that central role, something kind of like that. I would utilize Bryce Duke. I think he arguably can get on the field now and start. He definitely is, someone Phil Neville likes because he's been subbing him in. So that's what I would do. I would find a way to utilize Bryce Duke and get that formation to work without being too exposed at the back.
Moving
But
Mota to the 6.
yeah, because that's Mota. Yeah, he can play that. He
I think
can.
Mota is not as strong and as big as Gregory, but
Definitely
he
not,
played
but
it at
he
times
can
last
do
year.
that. Yeah.
The thing is, there's no like for like sub for Gregory. That's the problem.
Yes,
So
exactly.
I think
So
you
that's
have to
why
get
it's
creative
difficult.
with
That's
it.
why there's multiple options. And that's why I think you have to figure out the way to do it. And that's why I suggested, just throwing Bryce Duke in there because it's like, well, yeah, he's more of an attacking player, but you're going to have to figure something out. We don't have another Gregory 2.0 sitting on the bench or Gregory Light sitting on the bench.
Tyler, what do you think? Who do you think is the captain's armband, and what formation or players you like to see come in? Because we were playing that 4-2-3, 4-2-3-1. It looked like for a while, but with not having another defensive midfielder, probably
So
not to move things around.
obviously, I agree with Yedlin. He has the national team experience. Played at big leagues, Prem. He's obviously is like our best player. At least that's what most people think. But aside from Yedlin, I honestly have to say Calendar even because me being
That was
like
my
on the
pick.
sideline, I hear Calendar a lot, and I mean he's always constantly for all 90 minutes yelling at the defenders or the midfielders, whoever has the ball, because he plays, he plays out of the box whenever the ball's not on our side of the field, and I just always hear him. He's always vocal, and he literally just, I don't know, I just feel like he's a big leader and um, but also my third candidate, I was gonna say honestly, Christov. Um, I don't know. I mean, he's our main defender, like in the middle. Um, so you could kind of speak outwards and kind of forward if you need to. You know what I mean? I just don't know how well proven he is as that kind of person yet in the locker room or on the field even. I'd say Yedlin and Calendar be my 1 and 2, and then I think Kristav would be like a nice third, just because, like I said, I mean he has the vocals to go outwards and forward and even backwards if needed be. Um, then getting to the Gregory replacement. I agree with Adam. I'd say Bryce Duke for sure. The fans love him. Every time he gets on the field, people always scream Duke. You know the good saying. But yeah, I mean, I'd say Duke or even Robert Taylor. I mean, I feel like he can get up a lot. I think after that fucking wild volley that he did, like I kind of want to see him play more, especially because I was right behind the net whenever that happened. But like I don't know, I'd say Bryce Duke for sure though, and then yeah, just have someone probably like Mota drop back.
How would you change that formation? So I guess you would drop Mota to the 6, try to do like a
Um,
triangle with Duke and
uh,
Pizarro.
yeah, I
That's
was
what
gonna
I
say
would do.
you could probably even do like a 4-2 like a 4-2-2 almost. It would just be obviously our main defenders. Then you would have like two defensive mids, but one would play more like box to box, pushing up and pushing back, which would be like Pizarro. And then just have your two actual like center attacking mids, and then your two strikers in front of them. So
Yeah,
it's just a matter of who can play the two defensive mids, because obviously the two attacking mids we kind of have that figured out. So
yeah, it just I feel like if you go your route, I think if you're going to do a 4-2-2-2, like you're probably going to throw Duke back there with Mota because Duke has played as an 8 pretty much his whole like career. Even though I think he's more of a 10 and more of an attacking player, I think he's too small to play a
yeah,
defensive midfielder.
that's what I would say too, for sure.
Yeah.
And
I
then
mean, he's what,
you're
like five
saying
nine,
put
5'8"?
Pizarro and Stefanelli, and then on top of that, Joseph and like a Coco or a Lassiter. Probably
Yeah, because
Coco over
Yeah,
how
Lassiter.
something
I
like
don't know
that.
how long Campana's out for, but yeah, I mean, my initial two strikers would be Joseph and Campana, and then having the two cams
Yeah.
feeding them, and then I don't know, and then Yedlin always pushes upwards for the most part. I don't know. I think even like four a 4-3-3 even too, but then again, then we're in the same boat as before, unless in that 4-3-3 we run just one defensive mid and then the two that are next to him would push up.
It should probably be
So
like a Pizarro and a Duke.
yeah,
That could be
exactly.
possible too.
So a
And then
4-3-3 would be my best guess. But then I'm thinking about the wings. I don't really know because Yedlin's playing
you'd
right
probably put
back,
like
but he plays more right winger too because he pushes up the whole game. So it's
yeah, on
like
those wings, I mean, you'd probably put like a Taylor or a Coco, maybe even like a Lassiter or Stefanelli. Maybe because look, I will say this: I don't think Stefanelli is a 10, dude. That guy, he has been non-existent. Like when is the last? Like I feel like I never hear his name. I never do. Like
I don't think
the
I've
man
Yeah.
is
even like I
non-existent.
watch every
He
game. You know
runs
where
all.
I'm at.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
runs everywhere, but I never see him creating anything. I never see him get any touches. Like I feel like I don't like people are obviously Phil rates him higher than Duke, but like honestly, when Duke's on the field and he subbed out and Stefanelli subbed out, I feel like we get way more attacking presence when Duke is on there versus Stefanelli. So even though I
Yeah.
don't think this would happen, I would like to see, and maybe Phil will do this. Maybe you go back to that diamond formation. You do a 4-4-2, but you have
Um,
Mota as a 6, Pizarro and Robert Taylor as the two sides, the two eights, and then you put Duke at the 10 at the tip of the diamond, and then the two strikers are Joseph, and you can throw whoever you want on there. Maybe you put Stefanelli as an actual, because that's what he is. He's a second striker.
yeah.
Stefanelli is a central forward.
But
So
I don't
maybe
know.
you put him
I
up
almost
there
like
with Joseph, or you put Coco. I like Coco. I would probably put Coco with Stefanelli. I don't know that they're not going to bench Stefanelli, but I feel like he hasn't done anything,
yeah,
and maybe
I
he's
was
just
Yeah.
gonna
getting used
say
to it.
talking about Stefanelli, I kind of like our homegrown guy more than Stefanelli. The 6'5" dude, what's his name? He's like our fifth
Borgelin, he's
string
not ready
striker.
though.
Yeah, no, he's not. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, he made his presence known already. I mean, I know he scored a dog shit goal, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I mean, just having that tall presence is like, it's nice. So I don't know, but I mean, you can even say a 4-1-2-1-2 like narrow formation too. Just keep things tight.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I said.
it's
To
gonna
that
be
Man
very
United.
interesting. I
Yeah,
don't
like a
know. I
diamond.
don't really.
Yeah, playing the diamond.
I don't see Phil playing very narrow personally, especially with the players that we have on the bench.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
he
I mean, this is
said
something that
throughout
we
all
can.
preseason we're going to run a diamond. He said all
Yeah.
preseason,
And
but
that's what
then
I'm saying.
Campana
Like
got hurt, and then we
Yeah. So
he's doing that Man United
we're gonna
ball.
see what's
changed to
gonna
the four
happen.
two three
It's
one.
definitely one of those things we can talk about all day because there's so many options. But what Phil's the gaffer. He's gonna make the ultimate decision. Um,
It's
but
so
yeah,
hard to predict what he's going to do.
it's hard to predict, but I guess we'll find out, and we'll definitely talk a little bit about it in the game predictions. I do want to talk about this. This is actually very interesting, and I didn't really even know this until you brought it up in the podcast notes. LAFC partnering up with Bayern Munich. Tyler, I know you're a big Bayern fan. Do you like this move?
I do. Especially because the Bundesliga, we really don't spend a lot of money on players, but we sell players high, and that's one thing I love about the Bundesliga. So I feel like finding these nice LA kind of academy players, or even just like first team players that never really ventured off overseas or anything, like someone like Vela, for example. And I know like Douglas Costa. He was playing at like Juve for a while, and he played at Bayern too. But
Yes.
it's just like it's just nice like thinking about that. Like Vela, I mean, I know he's older now, but I feel like in his heyday, I feel like he could have had a shot somewhere like overseas, and I feel like the Bundesliga is a good starting point for a lot of these people. Where if they show out, especially coming from a powerhouse like LA, that we buy them cheap, but then we can sell them high. And that's one thing that I love about the Bundesliga, especially Bayern. We really don't pay a lot for our players. People just want to play for us because we're very successful. And I mean, I don't know, our chemistry style, like with our players, is just so good. I mean, look at Cancelo, for example. Like, we got Cancelo from Man City, and I mean, the dude came and he's playing out of his mind. James Rodriguez was another one. Came from where'd he come from before? I think he left Everton, then came to us. I can't really remember.
I
And then,
wasn't he at
or no,
Monaco?
he left Real Madrid. He left Real Madrid, came to us, and
Oh
then
yeah,
he
that's
balled
right. But
out.
I was
And
thinking
then
where he
he
Yeah, because
was
went to
he
before the
got
World
he got
Cup.
no playing time at Real Madrid.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah.
yeah. Which
But
is
it's
a
just stuff
story
like
in and of
that. Like
itself.
Felipe Coutinho left Barca on loan, then he scores against them in the 8-2, knocking Messi out of Champions League for the first year, and then we know what happened after that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree with you. Those are some
it's
good points. And
The
Well,
Bundesliga, I feel like, is just a great starting league for players to really like prove themselves and then move on to bigger and better things. And like I said, the Bundesliga usually buys low, but then they sell high. I think Dortmund, for example, Dortmund sold, like, whenever we bought Lewandowski and Dembele, or not Dembele, but Lewandowski, and then whenever they sold Dembele, I think Barca paid like 80 million for Dembele, and then even Bayern snagged Loa for cheap, and then you saw we sold Loa for so much to Barca. It's just like, that's one thing I love about the Bundesliga. It's literally just buy low,
yeah,
sell high, and it's a great starting point for players to really prove themselves.
and
Like
before
Kolo
I think
Muani
it's
from Frankfurt in the World Cup, just this past World Cup. I mean, the dude was balling out of his mind. He just couldn't get that game-winning goal. But
yeah,
other than that, it's like
and
it's just a
Julian,
great starting point.
before I bring you into it, I just want to make one more comment. It seemed like I got the job from I started at Wrexham in Football Manager, went to Bayern, um, and I was trying to get affiliates, and I would remember how like I got an MLS affiliate, and I felt like it was a good one, but even in the game, these players that really are not ready to start for me don't want to play for these American teams. So I find it really cool that they're willing to set that kind of thing up now and hopefully start developing. So I think that's a good sign for the MLS as much as it is for Bayern.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I think it's probably even well, Bayern gets because it's also too like it's giving Bayern a place for these players who aren't ready that need higher competition than the second team. And I think going to a place like MLS, it's going to be more competitive than like a Bundesliga too,
Yeah,
or like
especially nowadays.
you
So
know what I mean.
I think it's really good for
And
the
you're going to
MLS.
be yeah, and then so you're getting these players who aren't ready for the the first team, and but you're playing at a level that's higher than the quality you would be facing at a second level team. And being away, playing with older people, playing with veterans versus, you're stuck in the developmental leagues of the Bundesliga, you're just never going to get that same intensity with those younger guys. But now you're going to go against grown men, then you can easily work your way up. And now with MLS becoming that platform for players to like, especially American players too, to get the experience and then go over there because the competitiveness of the league here is growing so much. And it's also great for LAFC because one, now you're getting this high level developed talent, European developed talent coming to the MLS, which is helping LAFC out
and
tremendously.
arguably a top 5 powerhouse team too.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. And you're helping LAFC's academy because now if you have a player coming out of the LAFC academy showing promise, goes to the first team, doing really well, and then with that partnership, Bayern can then look at that player and be like, all right, this kid's 20 years old and he scored, I don't know, 8 goals in like 15 games. Let's bring him over here and see what he can do over here. So I think it's good for both. One, it brings the quality up for LAFC. And then two, it's helping Bayern have a place to send these players who aren't quite ready yet to a little bit more of a competitive league outside of just sending them to like some smaller clubs in the Bundesliga too. You know what I mean?
sure.
Because even though some people won't say it, I think MLS is probably of higher quality than like the Bundesliga too. And then playing with older people as well. So
Yeah.
it's really cool. It seems like that's kind of like the new wave, kind of like what Citigroup is doing, like, having like a feeder system around the world so you can get different levels of talent while also exposing these young players to playing with adults, really.
Yeah,
That's a big difference.
Yeah, exactly.
And man,
So
LAFC has done everything right when it comes to like starting off. Like LAFC is like, and it looks like St. Louis is going to be following their footsteps. They have become like the go-to team of how you correctly like operate a club in MLS to be successful. And it's cool to see.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, shit, hopefully Miami can have some sort of feeder system with, I don't know, some other team. That'd be cool.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes, but that's the goal. That's what we need to strive for.
Yeah, I could see us doing some sort of like La Liga team.
Yeah, I don't know. David Beckham having ownership. I mean, it's like he has so many AC Milan, PSG. I mean, Man United being a big one, obviously with Phil Neville too. It's like he obviously has a lot of pull at different clubs.
You know what also came up on my mind, and we can end it here, is that like now you're going to have younger players being okay with spending their youth over here. I feel like because now you're going to have like a player who's 22. You're playing in Europe. You're pushing for a starter job for like, let's say Bayern, but you've just been put on the bench constantly. Like
I said,
it's
a
for a fact if you can play really well. Yeah, it's like if you can show, it's like, all right, I have no issue going to LAFC at this age because I know I'm still connected with Bayern some way, and I know if I play really well, kind of like the Ricky Puig situation, like he's still kind of connected to Barca. I think he still gets shares of Barca. Barca still has a vested interest in selling him completely because they get a profit share of the revenue. So like, if you're able to bring more of those like young 20-year-olds who just aren't there yet, like it's just going to increase the quality so much, and it's going to bring so much more competitiveness to it. It's awesome to see. I really hope more teams continue to do this. But
Yeah. Also, just a final thing too to throw out. Also, we also didn't really talk about how the LAFC academy players can necessarily switch over to Bayern's academy too, being connected like that. You know, like let's say they want to develop, like they want to switch from LA's like academy and develop at Bayern's academy. Now it's like at least you have an easier kind of pull to kind of like switch, if you get what I'm saying, like something of
Yeah.
that nature too. That way you get two different experiences of how it is in Germany and then how you get it in the US. So it's like
Bryce Duke and I think Bryce Duke, Robbie Robinson for Inter Miami, I think they did some sort of thing. They did training in the offseason with Atletico Madrid. And like even something as simple as training, like you're at LAFC Academy in the summers, you know,
yeah,
you in the off seasons, you go over to Bayern in the Bundesliga and you can train with them and see like it's awesome. We need definitely more of that. But we
for
can
sure.
end it there and we can move on to our rapid fire predictions. Right now, Adam, give us the records. How do we all do?
Alrighty, I finally did it, ladies and gentlemen. I know you've been waiting. I have the record. So, Tyler did miss last week, but we still have his record included. So just keep in mind that he is a week behind. So, Julian, great overall lead. You are 17 correct picks to 10 incorrect picks. So that's very good. Very, very strong. I am just under 500 with a total of 13 correct picks and 14 incorrect picks. Tyler, you are 7 correct picks and 6 incorrect picks. For week 2,
500 baby.
yeah, above 500. So for episode 2, match day 3, Julian was 9-5 and I was 6-8. So hopefully I can turn it around. I'm starting to feel the pressure
So
now.
bottom line, listen to my picks. Listen to me. I know. And what makes it even more impressive is that with soccer, including ties, that means you're more likely to get it wrong than you are to get it right. So
Absolutely.
like, I'm pretty
There's
proud of
3
myself.
options, and if we were saying tie and it wasn't a tie, we were saying someone won and it ended up being a tie. That's a loss. So I was counting those as wrong.
You have to get it exactly correct.
You do.
So
You don't have to get the score correct, but you have to get the
win,
result
loss,
correct.
or draw for sure.
Yeah. So
No,
that's
trying to
how we
pick scores
stand
are impossible.
for right now. To make it easier, if everyone has FOTMob, you should just pick when we make the picks here. You should pick them there, so that way we can. It's easier for me, and I don't have to go through the VODs. So
I actually didn't even know that.
Yeah, so we can know our. Yeah, you can make picks on FOTMob on the app. So that'll be a good way to track it. So I'll get the.
Should we do it now or after?
If you can remember, you can do it after, but I'm going to do it as we go. So whenever you're ready,
do it as like
we have match day 4 picks, only episode 3, but match day 4, 4th game for most teams except for the LAs, which we've talked about before.
Okay, so how do you pick these? Okay, who will win?
Preview. Who will win? Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so actually, I'll just do this after.
The FOTMob app?
Yeah.
I'll do it after too. I just want to make sure.
I'll do it after. It'll be easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought it'd be pretty quick where I can just like boom, 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 boom. But now it's actually gonna.
No, you have to click through the you have to click on each match. Yeah, but I just search MLS, so I have all and go to fixtures, so I have them all. So
I have that, but then I still have to like click on each.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
All right, so let's get into it. Do you have
all right, let's share the screen right
awesome.
here.
Perfect. All right, so our first match, Seattle Sounders.
Actually, I'm gonna do it. Okay, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I actually got it set up. So we'll do it.
All right, awesome. All right. So our first match, Seattle Sounders host LAFC. Seattle, they're a good team, but they are coming off of a 1-0 loss to another good team at Cincinnati. That was a tough game for them. Cincinnati is one of those teams that we thought were going to be very good. It's a tough one. I'm gonna say draw.
Really? I actually love that this is going to be a solo game. It's going to be the only game at 4:00, which is awesome. Such a good matchup. We need more of these solo games. I'm going to go Seattle because of the home field advantage. LA's going to get their first loss.
I'm gonna go LA win.
Interesting. All right,
Yep.
so we all got all three.
All right, well,
so someone's
yeah.
going to get it right.
I'm filling
Someone is gonna
it
get it
out
right.
on my app as I'm going to, so I just put that one in. So
All right,
as,
cool.
as
So
I
we all
spit it
got
out,
it rolling
hit.
then.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit my answer on here.
Yeah.
All right. New England versus Nashville Soccer Club. New England plus 120, Nashville plus 200, with the tie being plus 220. I'm actually going to go with a tie here at New England. I like the plus 220 there.
That's not a bad choice. Nashville have been
can't
playing
score
good.
a lot.
They haven't been bad. New England have been good, but they did lose to LAFC, a game that we
Pretty
said
badly.
that they needed to at least show up to prove that they're back. I'm going to agree with you. I think a draw here.
I'm going draw as well.
All right. Let's do Atlanta versus Portland Timbers. I think this is going to be a really good game. This is going to be a pretty attacking heavy game. Man, Atlanta's attack has been doing really well. The combination of Thiago Almada and then that Caleb Wiley kid, 18 years old, scored a brace and an assist last week against Charlotte. Possibly getting some national team looks. You're at Atlanta. Evander is still having nagging groin injuries, and as somebody who's had a groin injury, it is very nagging. So, man, I'm gonna go with Atlanta at home with the minus 150. Yeah, even though it's not great odds, I do think they're gonna win.
I agree. I think Atlanta are very strong at home. They've been very good on the attack, and Portland are coming off a loss to St. Louis at home. I don't think that was very good for them.
God, this is a tough one.
With two DPs hurt. Portland's got Chara's out still.
Yes. It's there. Yeah, they'll be okay. They just need to get their players back. I pick Atlanta. Tyler, you're up.
I really want to say Atlanta, but this is a tough one.
Go with your gut.
I'm gonna go Portland.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Portland.
I'm gonna be 330. Tyler's gonna make some money if he hits this.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the odd dog here. I'm gonna go Portland for sure.
All right, we got let me actually pick that.
Yeah, so while you pick that, I'll introduce the next one. We got New York Red Bulls, who are going to be playing host to Columbus Crew. Now, this is an interesting one. Oh, my goodness.
Red Bulls are the favorite.
This one I think is harder to pick than the last one. Yes, the home advantage, makes sense. Columbus, they just came off a draw to Toronto. New York just drew Minnesota. Oh, man, it's the easy way out to pick a draw here. I think I'm gonna have to.
Really? Okay, I'm gonna go Columbus on this one. New York, even though it's gonna be their first, I believe this is gonna be their first home game. They have not shown that they can score properly. They get a lot of shots, but they can't put it in the back of the net. Columbus with Chucho, and Zelarayan, and I like that team a lot. I like their attack. I think they're going to get it done. I'm going to go with Columbus on this. Even though the odds are against me, I'm going to go with Columbus.
It's not as bold as the odds suggest. I think it's a decent pick.
Yeah, I do feel like the odds are making it way higher than it probably really is.
Yeah, I'm going to go draw. I'm just going to play it safe. Straight draw. Like you said, New York just can't score. So
okay, now in before New York end up winning and we're all idiots next week.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Even on FAMA, majority of people are voting for
New York. Yeah, I was just about to say that actually.
But I'm going Columbus, man. I like their. I think they're just a cleaner team. They've been more clinical. say that.
All right, well, I'll leave this one off
CF
for you. Don't worry.
Montreal.
I'll tell you right now, Philadelphia is my pick, so just don't even worry about it, saying the other
CF
team.
Montreal versus Philadelphia. CF Montreal plus 145 as the home team. Philadelphia plus 160 as the away team, with the tie being plus 230. These were the top two teams in the Eastern Conference last year. CF Montreal is getting their first home game of the season, but I do not think they are the same team that they were last year. Lost some major pieces. Do not like the coach over there, Losada. I think he does not know how to work with the players that he has.
I agree.
I'm gonna go with Philly with the plus 160 as the win.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Philly as well, and I think this is a lesson to all you folks who want to bet out there, which I wouldn't recommend on soccer. Look at how those odds are for Montreal, a team that really have arguably been the worst team in both conferences so far to start the season, and yet they are a betting favorite at home against Philadelphia. Very interesting. Yeah, they could do it. They're not going to do it, though. Philadelphia to win.
No, you already know my
All
answer.
right. All right. New York City versus DC United. New York City has the home team minus 185. DC plus 410, with the tie being
Wow.
plus 310. New York City, obviously, we all know they play on a futsal field or a foosball table, like as a soccer field. So they have a massive home field advantage. I think if you look at their all-time home record, it's something ridiculous. I don't even remember what it is. DC is not a very strong team at the moment, but on top of that, after Inter Miami playing there in New York City, that we talked about it earlier, they just know how to play with that field. I'm going New York City. And New York City looked better.
Damn, Aaron Judge is playing down over there.
I mean, yeah, I was going to pick New York City, but I didn't think the odds were going to be that strong. I definitely think New York City DC's been struggling to get those 3
that home
points.
field, dude.
And New York City at home, I think that's strong for that's a strong result coming for New York City.
Oh man,
Tyler.
Christian Benteke, baby, DC. No, fuck no. I'm gonna go draw. Honestly.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going.
Even
draw.
that's
Scared me
brave.
for a second. Yeah, that is brave.
Yeah.
But you.
I'm going draw. I don't. New York is they're so inconsistent. I have no idea what they do in Bronx Yankee Stadium over there. So.
All right. Going to the Great White North, Toronto versus Inter Miami.
Our boys
Toronto
on
minus
the
105.
second.
Inter Miami plus 240, with the draw being plus 250. Inter Miami going up to weather that they are not used to at all. It's going to be a cold, chilly 20-degree game there. Man, I'm going to go draw on this one. I think Inter Miami, even though we haven't seen it yet because they've only played one away game, I think they're going to be a better away team this year. And Toronto, still with Insigne out, Bernardeschi's been playing well. Sorry, I had to blow my nose. Sneeze right there. But,
yeah, I have to do that as well.
I'm gonna go with the draw here. I think Inter Miami is gonna hold possession pretty well. I can see a 1-1 draw. And then Bernardeschi's gonna get his.
I could see that too. I think that the Gregore injury is gonna actually inspire this Inter Miami team. I think they didn't look so bad against New York City. They in the first half, they had chances. They definitely could have been up. I think I'm gonna go Miami.
Yeah, I'm going with our hometown boys, man. I got to. Like, even if I'm wrong, I'm still gonna take them every time. So.
Well, according to football, most people are picking Inter Miami 49 to 42%, with the draw being 9%. So I'm in the very small minority right now.
Nobody likes picking draws. I don't know why, but whatever.
Who wants
to
make
I don't
money?
know. I think Insigne.
Who's the one that's 17-10?
But I think Insigne with them out though, like it's just I think Inter Miami is the safe and smart choice. So. Mind you, Toronto only has the cold advantage, I think. Other than that, it's like
fair point.
So.
Yeah, I guess my big thing is just how's that formation going to look with Gregore gone? And can you prove that you can win away? Because last year they couldn't. So let's see if they can.
Yeah,
this
we
year.
were dog shit on the road.
All right. Orlando City versus Charlotte. Orlando is -105. Charlotte is +240, with the draw being at +240. Both of these teams have honestly not shown much. Orlando had a ton of hype coming into the season with a lot of the incoming transfers that they had. But they have not been able to gel at all. They barely put any goals on frame. And then Charlotte has just been abysmal in the back line. I think Orlando's going to get this one out, though, with a 1-0 game.
Yeah, I agree. I could totally see it being something like that. Orlando at home against a shaky Charlotte defense, even though we haven't been too super impressed with Orlando, I would see them sneaking out a 1-goal victory here.
Also, I just thought about it. They are playing Concacaf Champions League.
They do play tonight, yes.
So I wonder how that affects the lineup Saturday.
I was thinking about it. I was thinking about that, but I think that's pure. It's a little too early to speculate at this point. That game's a little later on, so
yeah.
I don't want to.
I agree with you guys. I'm going to go Orlando too, but yeah, I don't think the Champions League match really is going to affect it either. But I don't know. Because I feel like it just playing an easier team. I don't know. There's many factors, but Orlando.
All right. St. Louis City SC versus the San Jose Earthquake. St. Louis is going back home with the -125. San Jose is +280, with the draw being +260. Man, St. Louis going back home to that environment. That's a hostile. Yeah. That's one of the new hostile environments in this league.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go St. Louis.
Yeah,
even though San Jose has looked decent, I will say San Jose has looked decent with
St. Louis. Yes, they have looked decent, but St. Louis is on fire, and they're coming back home. Stand Louis all day.
Yeah, I'm playing St. Louis too. I'm gonna be honest. I forget sometimes San Jose is a team. I'm gonna be real with you. So
yeah, they fly under the radar. It's very it's not a stupid thing to say. They do fly under the radar.
No, but for real though, like, the San Jose Sharks and the Earthquakes, I forget they even have teams. Like,
I mean, it's like the smaller city out of the three in the Bay Area. You know, it's like it's kind of a forgettable city. Like, it's not like San Francisco or like Oakland, and we're probably going to get shit for the few San Jose fans that are out there.
Sorry,
but they're not a big market. Okay, it's true. They're not as big of a market,
bro.
All right.
But no, man, they're just a historic team, and sometimes you kind of forget about those class teams like the Revs and San Jose and DC sometimes. But anyways, let's go to Chicago versus Cincinnati. Chicago Fire is +140 at home. Cincinnati is +165 at away, with the draw being +230. I'm going to go with Cincinnati on the road. I think Cincinnati is going to be the best, is going to be a top 3 team in the East, probably top 2. They're going to me, I think they can fight for top of the East. They're a really good team. I like
Bremer's getting his for sure, bro.
I think
Brenner's going to get his. Acosta's going to get his. Acosta's going to get 2 assists. That man is a playmaking mastermind. Vasquez he had the 2 goals in the beginning of the season, but maybe he can get back on point with Chicago. Chicago's not a very good team. They don't, outside of Shaqiri and Kai Kamara, they don't really have much. And Kai Kamara is already getting old. Bro, you know how old Kai Kamara is?
No.
He's
30.
He was playing when when Sporting KC was the Kansas City Wizards.
Oh my God.
That's how long he's been playing. Yeah, he's played for like 15 or 20 teams or some shit, including teams in Europe.
But
so
for this game,
since I threw out Cincinnati, I'll let you go.
Yeah. So what's it called? Yeah, you know what? I could see this one being a draw at Chicago. But I have to agree with Julian. I think Cincinnati are starting to click. I think they beat a good Seattle last week. even though it was at home. I would pick Cincinnati for this one.
So believe it or not,
And
Chicago actually is 49% to Cincinnati's 43 with a draw at 8. So that's kind of interesting. But
home field
like I said,
advantage is huge at MLS.
It
It
is,
really
but
is.
I don't know. Cincinnati, I think, can deal with it. I think they're one of the teams. They're solid enough. They at least defensively.
so Chicago
Brenner's on a
Chicago actually
mission. He wants to
plays.
go to Europe.
They
Mm.
play at Soldier Field.
Yeah.
So like I mean obviously Soldier Field is bigger than Yankee Stadium. I know that, but I mean, do you think that affects it in any way? Going like since because does Cincinnati play in the NFL stadium or no?
No, they
No,
have their own
they have their
stadium.
own
They have their
stadium.
No,
own. Okay,
Chicago's one
yeah.
of the few. They actually a little off topic, but I think there's with the Bears leaving, there's talks of Soldier Field becoming a soccer specific stadium.
That'd be
Okay.
interesting.
The one
Yeah.
thing I
Yeah.
will say about Soldier Field is that the grass fucking sucks there. It is terrible for football and for soccer. It is bad. But nonetheless, I still think Cincinnati's going to get it
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, I think Cincinnati does too for sure.
So next
All
up,
right.
is this
Texas Derby.
Is this a Texas Derby or a Texas Poo Poo Bowl with the way Austin's been playing lately? No, really,
Because we know Houston
All
is.
right.
because we know Houston's not good at all.
Before we get into
Austin-
it, Houston, the home team, plus 130, Austin away, minus 170, with the tie being plus 240. Poople Bowl or no?
So I like to go for. I'm gonna say Austin. Just looking at the last 5 fixtures, Houston's won 1 out of 5. Austin has won 3 out of 5. So just based on that, and I mean Houston has been playing some. I mean they've been playing harder teams than Austin for sure, but I don't know. Austin, yeah, has looked terrible, but I'm gonna still say Austin got that for sure.
Yeah, if Houston want to rebound, this is definitely their game to do it. But even with Austin's form right now, they are the better team, and I would bet for them.
The thing is that the problem with Austin is that they're a good team, and you could arguably say that they could be undefeated right now. But Houston is kind of going through a rebuild. I mean, outside of Hector Herrera, there's really no one else on that team. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Austin with the plus 170. I think there's some money to be made there. I think I think they're going to want to bounce back after that Champions League loss. But so the new portion of the Texas Derby is going to be in full effect. No longer just FC in Houston, no longer Dallas and Houston.
I think
Anyway,
it should
speaking
be
of
Dallas
Dallas-
and Austin.
Yeah, it might be the new one. Houston might
Yeah.
get kicked to the side.
Yeah.
It's like how they try to say they try to include Vancouver in the Cascadia rivalry, but it's like we all know Vancouver is kind of like the outsider looking into the Seattle Portland rivalry, but they try to include them. But anyways, let's go to FC Dallas versus Kansas City. FC Dallas minus 115 to Kansas City's plus 270, with the draw being plus 250. I like Dallas at home here. Kansas City cannot put the ball in the net. They
Not at all.
had so many. They're actually not bad attacking. I've watched a couple of the games these past 3 weeks, and they're not bad. They just can't finish it. They're not lethal enough. When Dallas has all the players available. You have Jesus Ferreira, Paul Arriola, Velasco. You have Sebastian Lletget in the midfield. That's a really good team. That is a title contending team that can score and put up points. So I'm going Dallas.
Yeah, I'm going to go Dallas as well. I mean, both these teams are coming off draws, but Dallas probably the more surprising of the two. Kansas City, you can totally see the way those two teams are attacking wise. It's not really a super surprise, but yeah, Dallas are definitely the favorites for this one for a reason. They're my pick.
Dallas being the obvious favorite. I don't know. I feel like Kansas City has something to prove. especially with St. Louis playing so well. I feel like KC's trying to get back on the map. I'm gonna say KC actually, believe it or not. But
That could be a new rivalry. I didn't even think about that. The Missouri
Yeah.
rivalry,
Yeah.
Missouri
Yeah.
Garden.
Yeah.
but
Even though they play in Kansas.
Close enough.
All right. Final game of the week: LA Galaxy versus the Vancouver Whitecaps. These are two teams I think are trying to get back on track. LA Galaxy at home with the minus 165. I believe it's going to be their first home game with Vancouver plus 360 on the road. The draw being plus 300. I'm going to go with the Galaxy here. I think they're finally going to get it together. They had 27 shots on goal. No, wait. Oh, man. Who was it? Was it Kansas City? Now I'm drawing a blank. I thought it was no, it wasn't. It was Kansas City that 20. All right. Anyways, LA Galaxy just can't seem to finish either. They can't score at the moment. You're still without Chicharito. Ricky Pooch is I don't think he has a lot of help. I think hasn't
he's
played
not,
terrible,
he's
but
not
I
their
just think he has
he's
a lot of
not
help.
their problem.
But I think they're finally going to get one on the road here. I'm not sure if Chicharito's coming back, if you guys know or not. I don't believe he
heard
is.
anything. But
And then also too, I think Vancouver is going to put all their eggs in the CCL basket. I think they're going all in on that after winning 5-0 against that Real España. And now with LAFC coming up in the bracket, they're going to put all their efforts towards that. So I can see them
I
kind
think
of
that's a fair
maybe resting
assumption.
some.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you and say LA Galaxy. I would agree with everything you said there.
But yeah, I got LA in this one, and believe it or not, actually, fun fact, they're unbeaten in their last 8 home games. So I know that counts as draws too, but I don't know. I feel like just LA, got something to prove. I think they finally get back on track, like you said. I could totally agree. Plus, I mean, they're 12th and 11th on the table. So I mean,
Where's the Colorado Minnesota game?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too, right? I was looking at that. Why is that not on here?
Go down in the bottom and I don't know. Nope, that's
Yeah, why is it what? Why
well,
is it,
we can. I'll tell you what, we're gonna do it ourselves because
we're
we're
gonna
not
pick
stupid.
it anyways. Yeah.
I knew. I was like,
I was looking at that. I was looking at that.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
what?
We don't have the odds. We're going in blind on this one. You know me. I think Colorado are trash, even if they are at home. I'm gonna pick Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Come on.
Give me Minnesota. I'm going Minnesota as well.
I'm going Minnesota for sure. Chicago.
Yeah, they just said
Colorado.
FanDuel's like fuck.
Yeah. Colorado.
FanDuel's like fuck that game.
Fucking terrible. I'm sorry to Colorado fans out there, but you guys are like San Jose.
Man,
I forgot you guys beat the team. Clearly, FanDuel did too. So
FanDuel forgot Colorado existed. Man, I feel bad for all the Colorado fans though. Like for real, like the 10 of y'all that are out there.
Like,
I feel bad. Like, I mean, you got an owner who genuinely does not give a fuck about you guys. It was Kroenke. He just doesn't care. He's too invested into the Rams, and he barely even cares about Arsenal.
Yeah, you could argue that's the only soccer team he cares about. It's because he sends his son over there, Josh, to all the bidding. So it's like whatever, I guess. So yeah, those are our picks for match day 4. And we'll I'll keep track of those records.
Let's go through Champions League real quick. Do a little Champions League update for Concacaf.
Just a quick review for
region.
Concacaf with round 1 having just finished up. So let's let's get
let me pull up the bracket.
Yes, let's get the bracket up. So as you pull up the bracket, let's talk about the the largest story I think has to be Austin FC. There's a reason why we were saying that it might be a poo-poo bowl because they were knocked out by a Haitian team in round 1 in pretty embarrassing fashion. Now, I don't know if you guys have any perspective. It was an easy path for them, but as the first leg was going on and I saw it was a 3-0 that they were down, I had told my dad that this is the equivalent of like some, decent, doesn't need to be like the top team, but like a decent team in, the English Championship or something like that, or the Dutch league, like a
I don't even
mid-table
think it's
team in the
that.
Dutch league,
I think you're giving it too much
losing to
credit.
like
I don't even think it's
San
that.
Marino. No, but like it's like losing to San Marino or some Andorran team or Luxembourg.
I'm here. I'm
That's
just
what it's
using the
like.
restroom real quick.
No,
I'm here.
you know what it
So
is?
like it's embarrassing. I mean, you know what? And 'cause Haiti is a country with so many issues to the point where they couldn't even play their home leg in Haiti. They had to play it in Dominican Republic, and you lose 3-0. Bench players or not a good look, and they are deservedly out in the first round.
No, I mean, always respect your opponent. Like, and that was the problem. Austin didn't respect the opponent. They put out a weak lineup and they got caught. And the comparisons you were giving doesn't even do it justice, because this is a team who hasn't played since 2021 in their league. They haven't played in their league since 2021. They had visa issues coming into the game to where all their subs weren't even on the team the day before. And they still lost. If Austin would have went in there, I'm not saying you put up your A-list lineup, but like if you
Of
put up a
course not.
stronger lineup,
You shouldn't need to put your A-list lineup to beat that team. You shouldn't, and that's
no,
why it's
you should have
bad.
you
And that's
should have
why
at
we can
least had
say,
a
hey, that's not
0-0
good,
draw.
because you should have. And then
It
maybe
should at
if it's
least come out
1-0
like
loss, you can say, okay, it was some sort of fluke or something like that.
yeah,
So
on
I mean,
transition or
yeah,
whatever.
something. It's just, it's
But
interesting.
I don't even think you could really necessarily even say the A-list lineup argument neither, though, because let me use an example. Like, let's talk about Japan in the World Cup. So, like, everyone went in underestimating Japan in that whole group, and then you saw what Japan was doing. Japan was out there torching dudes, and people were like, what the fuck's going on? Like, that's what I mean. Like Julian said it best. No matter who you play, everyone's professionals at the end of the day. You just never underestimate your opponent, period.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, I
And I
agree.
was
So
actually high on them. I thought Austin, even down 3-0, I still thought they can come back and win. Arguably, you could have said they did. That handball was pretty iffy. I mean, I get the call. That was like really close for me, at least for what I saw. And then
yeah,
I actually
you
agree with
shouldn't be
not getting
putting it
that
down to
Jesse
that.
Zardes pen. I actually agree with not getting that Jesse Zardes pen, because the guy honestly seemed like he like just fell down and barely tapped Jesse Zardes, and Zardes fell on top of him. But there was a couple clear chances, and the thing that I don't know if you guys watched it, but like Austin kept on going towards the wing and crossing it. Dude, it's not working. I think I
yeah,
saw like they crossed it like 40 plus times before they even scored a goal.
yeah,
And it's like, man,
Barca.
rifle these people. You have Jerussi, rifle it through the middle and get behind their back line and score. I mean, Jerussi alone, I mean, he almost scored. He could have scored like fucking 5 goals that game, but a couple of them got pulled back. That guy's so good.
Yeah,
But
a different Champions League person scored 5 in their last game, but
yeah, but it's like man, yeah, you got to respect your opponent to a certain extent. Austin just kind of shows that they don't really have depth at the moment. Because you look at a Philly Union who didn't put out their A-list squad when they went to, I believe, El Salvador. They put up a 0-0, and then they came back home and they did their job. They won 4-0. So, anyways, let's talk a little quickly about the games that are coming on tonight. So you got Vancouver and LAFC are both playing tonight. Vancouver versus Real España. They beat 5-0, so they should advance. Even if you're going
I
back to
don't even see that
Honduras
being a talking point. Probably just gonna end up
yeah.
winging that one.
So
and
it's
just,
gonna it's
getting
be
through to the next
Vancouver.
round. Yep.
LAFC
The
pretty much
Orlando
thrashed the
one is going
Costa
to be
Rican
interesting.
side.
Yeah, LAFC, you can see them going through. The Orlando one is going to be very interesting because
Orlando's going to be the biggest
Tigre,
one, honestly.
They're
Tigres,
playing
I
the
think, are
Tigres.
the non-ML. Yes, they're
Yeah.
I think Tigres are the non-MLS favorite. So arguably, so
Yeah,
that's
I
going to be
agree.
a big one.
Yeah.
They're probably
Orlando
the
can knock them
favorite,
out.
honestly.
Yeah, I think honestly
Oh
that
yeah, absolutely. You could definitely argue that. So it's going to be interesting.
But I will say,
I think. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
All right. I was going to say,
go.
like, Orlando did have. I mean, that's a big result because they got a 0-0 draw in Mexico, and now you're coming back to Orlando.
I thought that was good for them. I did think that was good for them.
Pedro Gallesi, like, pretty much single-handedly, like, got them that result. I still don't, even with you being at home,
is that Montreal?
No, that's Motagua. It's a Honduran club versus Pachuca. But the thing is,
I could like
even if Orlando get, yeah, I'll try to zoom in some more. Oh. Too much.
Okay, yeah, that's better. Okay, yeah. It just I couldn't tell, but
yep.
There we go. Okay, yeah. but yeah, I mean, like I said, that's a big result. Like Adam saying, like Tigres has the highest market value in all of Concacaf. I believe their whole roster is valued at like $80 million. Look, if Orlando can pull it off, that'll be huge. I still think Tigres is going to get it in Orlando. I just don't see people showing up to that game. I'd be surprised if that game really fills out. Orlando, just their fan base, and I know I'm a Miami fan.
They should,
but they just do. They just do not.
They should go
fill out that stadium, especially.
They need that support.
I mean, look at the
too,
Open Cup
especially
game.
The way the team's been going. They need it, and I completely agree.
Orlando still just looks bad, and I don't see them holding Tigres off on a clean sheet again. I think Tigres is going to advance, and even if Orlando does get through, they're going to get smacked by Pachuca. Pachuca, even though it's 0-0 against Motagua, Pachuca's the better team. They're one of the top teams in Mexico right now. They're going to smoke Orlando. Honestly, on this side of the bracket, it's going to be a Mexican team. The semifinals is going to be León versus Pachuca or Tigres, most likely.
Yes.
Gignac's going to get his.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
But the right side of the bracket is where you're going to see MLS thrive. Like we said, Philly's going to play a Atlas team that barely won. They actually pulled off what Austin couldn't. They were down 4-1 in Honduras, but then ended up pulling off a 4-0 win at home to then have them advance. But they're going to face the Philly side. I think they're better than Philly. Atlas is at the bottom of the table in the Liga MX this season in the Clausura. So I think Philly's going to take care of them. Then you're going to have LAFC versus Vancouver.
I think it's going to be LA versus Philly in the semifinal.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
But I think LA will even beat Philly though. I think LA goes to the final, and I'm going to make that early prediction now. But I think semifinal will be LA and Philly, and then.
Yeah, all right, that's fair.
I think LA gets the double.
More to talk about. LA. Yeah, you have to consider them favorites the way they're playing, and that would be great for them to get that double. But we'll see what happens.
I think a big domino that's going to fall is what's going to happen with this Tigres Orlando game. I'm going to catch that game tonight. That's going to be it's going to be
a big game to watch. Yeah,
that's going to determine a lot.
Yeah. All right. So before we move on to other things, is there anything else on this side of the pond that we want to cover?
Yeah, I do. We can quickly give our thoughts still regarding Concacaf Champions League. Concacaf did announce the qualification methods for the new Club World Cup in 2025. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but I'll pull it up now. So basically, CONCACAF to qualify is going to have four spots into the new version of the Club World Cup that's going to be hosted in 2025. And how you qualify is essentially winning the Club World Cup. I mean the Concacaf Champions
Concacaf
League.
Champions
So
League. Yep.
right
It's
now,
pretty straightforward.
Concacaf Champions League. So
Pretty straightforward.
Monterrey
That's kind of
in
how it
already.
is.
Sounders.
In other countries, you win the Champions League, that gets you in for Europe.
Yeah.
So that
It's the
seems
same.
pretty standard,
Yeah.
but it's good to have 4 teams in there. That's going to be very exciting.
Yeah. So I am curious, like, what do you guys? We've never really talked about it, but what do you guys feel about this new like Club World Cup format with the 24 teams, with multiple teams coming from each region?
I think it's good. You need to diversify it. I always felt like it was a bit of a interesting format before. It was the kind of format where with 3 team groups, you lose a game and you're not even guaranteed to get in. It was very odd. So I think that expanding it, making it more competitive and making it more like a actual tournament to really celebrate the best for each and have them come together, having teams like a Seattle Sounders going up against a team like a Liverpool or what have you in a competitive
Now
sense
you can
is
pretty
something that people
guarantee
want to
that.
see. Yes, and that's what people want to see. So that's really all I have to say about that. I think it's good. It's kind of inevitable that change, because it
We
just
all know UEFA hates it. UEFA hates it, but every other federation,
Because
every
they're
other
like, oh, because
region loves it.
UEFA is, as good as UEFA is, obviously they're the best confederation, but they still like they walk around like they're better than everyone else. They're like, oh, I don't want to. You're letting more of those guys into the Concacaf or into the Club World Cup. Ooh, why should we go? We should
Or
have
even
more
South
teams.
America,
It's like that's how they. That's kind of like their thought. Like that's how it comes across. Comes across very
Euro
pretentious. Like, oh,
snob.
it's like we're UEFA. We're so good. We win all this shit, and you guys want to bring all these guys to play against us. It's just very weird. I don't agree with
No,
that.
because
But
even South America, they love the Club World Cup. Like they love seeing like teams like Flamenco and
yeah,
Palmeiras like
yeah,
actually like compete
yeah,
against some of
exactly.
the top.
It's
So
exciting. It's good for
it's
these teams. So I mean, I can
CONCACAF
understand.
did
Like,
say. I was going to say CONCACAF did say that they're going to cap 2 teams per country, but if ends up being more teams more than 2 per country, then they're going to make exceptions. Which I don't know. I mean, just basically
yeah,
from the way I'm reading that, just basically say, look, if you win it, you're in. It's like I don't know why you even cap it. Like if it's 4 Mexican teams or 3 Mexican teams, let it be 3 Mexican teams. If it's 3 MLS teams, let it be that. I
yeah.
mean, if you
I
get
don't
in,
know.
you get in.
We'll see.
But
Yeah,
Tyler,
it's
what do you
good, but
think of
yeah.
the real quick?
I mean, I don't know. I think me and you actually talked about this at work at the stadium one time. Like, I don't know. I just didn't really like. Uh, I mean, I don't know. I never really understood the hype around the Club World Cup because, I mean, not to sound like biased, but most of the time, yeah, it's a European team just slaughtering the living shit out of like this side of the ocean team. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I guess it's kind of cool to see how these teams like on our side of the border match up with like the powerhouses of Europe, but at the same time, it's just like I don't know. I think the whole thing is just honestly just kind of a waste of a competition, in my opinion. That's just always how I felt about the Club World
It's
Cup, though.
money, bro.
No,
Mhm.
It's
I
money.
know, but
I think
still,
making
like,
it like an official thing is better. I think the current format was terrible. I mean,
yeah.
it
But
Yeah,
just
it was.
I
And like
will
I
wasn't
say,
said,
good.
however,
it was
throwing that
inevitable.
input in, I think the new format of how you do it now, though, where you actually have to win like the Concacaf Champions League to be in it. The 4
I mean, you
winners.
always
I
had
think
to.
no, I know, but I think that's just like better. And then I'm not sure how the other countries are doing it too, though. But
I don't think they've announced yet. I think
yeah,
CONCACAF's the first to announce.
but
But
I
I'm not
think
even so much the UEFA. I think it's going to be cool to see like some of those AFC play against those AFC teams, or even like more South American teams, those Brazilian teams. I mean, we never should talk about it, but like even like the new partnership with CONMEBOL and CONCACAF, I
Hmm.
think being able to have more of those matchups would be cool. And having 4 teams in there, I think will be a good measuring stick. And I do think not even just South America, but not even just CONCACAF, but South America, Asia, Africa. I think it's good for them to play against people outside of their continent and to kind of help develop. outside of that because you see UEFA slowly getting away and farther away from what used to be maybe like very competitive against South America and CONMEBOL. Now CONMEBOL wants to find a way to kind of like bring themselves back to those glory days. But we'll see. I personally like it. I'm curious to see how it is. I do think the 4 years is kind of weird because like who's to say Monterrey is anything like the 2001 champions, and now they're getting granted qualification from
that is
something they did 4 years ago. That's the one thing I don't necessarily like.
That's kind of how the Club World Cup's always been. So it's just hard to change it when it's like that.
Yeah.
But
it makes sense.
We'll see.
But I just feel weird qualifying for something 4 years in advance. Like that's just weird to me.
Yeah,
like,
it is. But yeah, all right.
Especially because I see your point. Like the 2024 people qualified a year before the actual competition, so they most likely have the same roster and shit. Yeah, I get you. But
I don't
know.
That's how it is.
It's weird. But
all right,
we'll hop the pond.
Yes,
over
it's time
to the Premier League. Adam.
Yes.
You want to talk about some relegation battles going on in the Premier League?
Yes. So I think we need to talk about. We've been talking about the title race. How's Arsenal doing? How's City doing? Who can compete? Can United compete? But the real interesting story for the rest of the season is going to be the relegation battle. It is incredibly close. I mean, it's always quite a fight, but we're talking about 12th place, Crystal Palace, 12th place out of 20 teams with 27 points, and then 20th place, Southampton with 22 points. Difference of 5 points separating 12th and 20th. And we have, if you look at the form, a win here, a loss there, a draw there. It's very interesting and it's flip-flopping a lot. I mean, you have a team like Bournemouth in 18th place. They were bottom of the barrel. They had 21 points. They were last place. And then they come out and they beat Liverpool, who just beat Manchester United 7-0. So I mean, this is an incredible Premier League season when you look at it from the grand scheme of things. I mean, it's harder to bet who would finish bottom 3 at this point than just picking any random match results. I mean, that's how close it is. Everton they're still in the conversation for relegation, but they've had a couple. They had a draw and a win, that well needed result. You have West Ham in 17th. These aren't just bottom of the barrel like, oh, we were in championship last year. These are some decent teams that are also fighting.
Yeah, these are historic Prem teams that have been in the Prem for a long time now. So
so it's just it needs to be mentioned because for all of you watching, it is crazy how close it is, and it is just going to get crazier.
So, who do you think is getting relegated? If you had to pick today.
Okay, I think Southampton are getting relegated. They've been a little, but I don't know. They've been bottom too long. I don't see them coming out of this hole. This is so tough. I think Nottingham Forest will end up going down, even though they're in 14th place. Oh my God, 14th place, they're going down. Like I said, anybody 12th on can go down. So I would say
Navas would never.
He's if they stay up, he's part of the reason. He's playing great for them. But yeah, so I would say Nottingham Forest, Southampton, and Leeds would be my 3 to go down.
Man, do you think the failed American experiment at Leeds has hurt the American player and coach?
They have their own problems.
I
think it's unfair.
I don't think it did, but I don't think it did. I think
maybe
it's unfair,
in some people's eyes who were already looking for that.
People, like
they were already looking for that, and they were already looking for an American to fail. Then yes, that's what it hurt it. But they've had other problems.
I don't think it hurts the American.
People hate Leeds for Leeds. Leeds, I don't know if for those of you who aren't familiar with the English football system, there are two fan bases that are the most hated in England, all of England, in any tier. It's Leeds and Millwall. So sometimes like my dad would be like, "Oh, I like it. They got the Americans on Leeds and stuff like that." And I was like, "Nobody likes Leeds."
Yeah,
I was like,
no.
only Leeds fans like Leeds. It's like that's literally how it is.
Some Leeds fans don't even like Leeds. I mean, they support it because they're from there. Honestly,
yeah, no, right. But so yeah, it's I don't think it's hurt the American experiment, but
I think the American experiment was
I don't think for us,
failure though. Like,
I think it was a failure, but
I just didn't see the point of it. Like, like I don't give a fuck if they all grew up in the same fucking neighborhood. I don't care if they all played in the same academy.
Yeah, exactly.
It just doesn't work.
If
like,
it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Americans,
there's plenty of British people who are failing at their clubs and rotting and taking
but
their
there's a stigma.
But Americans have always been on that back burner of just like we just don't perform well overseas in soccer. It just does not happen. It just doesn't. That's why I think the US will never win a World Cup ever.
Well, we're gonna see. They're gonna need to take some steps forward when we host.
I don't think anytime soon, but I think it's definitely possible.
You're gonna need to see some big steps taken forward when the World Cup comes soon.
The US just, they just ain't it.
I think the infrastructure's there. I think we've gotten better than we've ever been, and I think it's just gonna get. I think the infrastructure keeps on growing, the sport keeps on growing. But it's gonna be, man. Like I said, I don't think it's a fail. I don't think it's going to hurt the American, but like, I just think like in the view of like, how people can be like snobbier people, Euro players are, there's just a certain stigma, if you're not from Europe or South America. But anyways,
speaking of European,
Tyler, who do you think is going to get actually relegated though?
So
real quick,
mine is Everton,
Tyler,
because Everton #1 was already in this relegation zone last season. They barely got away. Lampard got lucky as fuck, in my opinion. So I'm going to say Everton.
Well, he's not there anymore. It's Sean Dyche.
Which Sean Dyche, I don't even understand. That's like a Graham Potter signing. Sean Dyche and Graham Potter, those two go through Prem clubs like I change underwear. I'm sorry, but they're terrible managers. They literally get sacked and then...
But not very often.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some
for real
people
though,
out there that would want to hang you in the comments for that Sean Dyche slander. Sean Dyche is a cult icon.
Yeah,
I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying you gotta watch yourself. People are coming after you.
Like Sean Dyche and Graham Potter, in all seriousness, no, they get sacked from a club. A week later, they get a job, and then they underperform. Graham Potter is a perfect example. I don't know why Chelsea is a perfect example. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we've talked about that. Getting rid of Tuchel was a
Graham Potter and Sean Dyche are just terrible managers in my opinion. They're just obviously, if they're getting fired from a team, I don't think they should be rewarded and being hired by another team a week later. They're not good managers. Like,
wasn't Jesse Marsh literally wasn't there talks of him getting hired at Southampton like the week right after he got let go at Leeds?
It's always like that. That's always the British media. You just gotta take that shit with a grain of salt. They're always doing that.
But I'm gonna say Everton, Bournemouth, and Leeds.
Okay, that's fair. I think Everton would sneak. I think.
You think Southampton's going to get out?
Carry them. Southampton.
Yeah, I think Southampton to get out. Southampton just had a really good game last week.
They had a good game. They did.
Yeah. They had a really good game. Their defense stepped up big time.
They were at 19 points. But yeah, so that it's going to be interesting, and we'll definitely keep an eye on it.
Tied with United.
Yes, well, Chelsea, Chelsea and United. I mean, they're very inconsistent, and Bournemouth beat Liverpool.
Yeah, but
it's a fucked up season. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy for anybody who's watching. It's just it's insane. It really is. So there's going to be a lot more to talk about.
Southampton also tied with Arsenal too. That's what I mean. Like Southampton is not bad. They just can't finish. They don't have a striker. Other than that, their defense is pretty solid. They usually, if they're not drawing, their biggest loss, I think, this season is only like 4-1 or some shit. 3 goals. I mean, listen, Southampton defensively ain't bad at all. So that's why I think Southampton will get out of that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll have a lot more to talk about as the weeks go on because we've got a lot of league games.
But
going on,
realistically,
so
if
it's
you're
gonna be
12 from
very
Crystal
close.
Palace down, anyone can be
Yeah,
relegated.
yeah.
But I
No,
think
exactly.
yeah,
That's why I brought it up. I mean, it's a
Bournemouth,
5-point gap. I mean,
yeah.
that's what the title gap is right now between Arsenal and City. So it's worth talking about, and that's why I think we needed to bring everyone's attention to that.
The
But
Bundesliga is like the same way
yeah,
too, pretty
yeah,
much. It's like all
and
super
La
tight.
Liga
Me and
too.
Adam,
We were talking about the La Liga. Yeah,
me and Adam were. Before you hopped in, me and Adam were talking about La Liga. La Liga is probably even
yeah.
tighter. It's
And we
like
can
from
probably
like
and we can
7.
talk about those next week
I think
too.
this is the
if we
first
really
time.
want.
Yeah, I think this is the first
So,
time in a while that three of the top 5 leagues have been super tight. But the Prem one is just really interesting because it's so tight, top of the table compared to like the top 4 teams. But then you got the bottom 12 that are super tight by 5 points, and that is what's more interesting to me than anything. So
yeah, I agree. All right, so let's close it out with the topic that we know everybody loves, the Champions League. They yeah,
Can't do that.
the second legs have finished. We can talk about them.
Oh, is the game
So
over?
the games are over.
For those
yeah,
who don't know, we're recording it literally in the middle. We recorded this in the middle of the Real
I was
Madrid
watching though.
Liverpool.
There was nothing
and
worth talking about, so I did not. I was checking the scores.
Yeah,
I didn't bring it up because nothing
Look,
changed.
I didn't check it, and let me guess what happened. Real Madrid won, obviously.
Okay. Yes.
They did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
What is it? 7-2? 7-2 aggregate.
6-2. They won 1-0.
Ooh, I was close.
Close.
This is
Real close.
7-2.
All right, Napoli, Frankfurt. Come on.
Napoli, because what was the aggregate going into that game? 0-0 or no 1-0?
2-0 Napoli.
2-0. Yeah, 2-0 Napoli.
Going into that game?
Yeah.
Go 3-0 Napoli.
Yeah,
on
it
that.
was
Wow.
3-0.
Yeah. Damn, I was close.
Very
I almost got the
good.
Real Madrid.
Osimhen had 2.
Very good. But yeah, so that's so now our teams. We did talk a little bit about it last week. So our teams now that are advanced into the quarterfinals are AC Milan.
No,
Bayern.
it was 5-0 aggregate. I said 3-0 aggregate.
Oh, I thought you meant like.
I thought you meant the game.
Yeah, I thought you meant the
3-0.
game.
Oh,
Yeah,
come
yeah.
on.
No.
Boo.
But technically
We're
you were
taking
right.
Pearson, boo.
Technically you were right though, but yeah, the 5. It was a 5-0
well, no,
aggregate.
I
They won
said
the
I
fight.
said 7-2 aggregate, and you guys know 6-2, and then I assumed that you guys thought I was also still talking in aggregate.
Oh,
No,
no. Yeah, okay, all right, whatever, it's fine. So yeah, so Milan, AC Milan, Bayern Munich, Benfica, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Napoli, Manchester City, and Inter Milan. So with City, they thrashed Red Bull Leipzig 8-1. With them having won the league many times over the past few years, not having won the Champions League, do you think Pep Guardiola and Manchester City are prioritizing the Champions League over the Premier League?
I think they're prioritizing it, yes, but I don't think they win it though. They haven't done it before ever in their history. Pep obviously has won it multiple times, different teams, but
and that's why he's still there with City. That's his ultimate goal. You'd have to argue.
But
yes, they won, and I'm not suggesting that they're throwing the league to Arsenal.
Yeah, no, not at all. But I think for sure they are.
Really good. They're only 5 points behind.
Exactly. So I think, I think the point I'm trying to make though is that if it comes down to it, and if it comes down to, let's just say, Haaland, he's only fit enough to play one game this week, and one of them's a Champions League game, and one of them's a Premier League game.
Which
one is he playing him in? He's playing him in the Champions League probably, and that's what I think.
Yeah, you're probably gonna play Julian Alvarez
in the league
in those Prem games.
Yep.
Yeah,
for sure.
So they're definitely one of those favorites because they're just going all out, and they
isn't bad.
Star power.
Yeah.
Will they lose? I mean, we've already seen one team that has a history of Champions League failure Paris Saint-Germain,
Who also don't have a single one in their history like Man City.
also knocked out. So I mean, if history is repeating itself, then City won't be too far off. But with the teams that I mentioned that are still in it, what are matchups that we really want to see for the next round? What are some exciting
I want to see a
matchups?
Milan derby for next round.
That'd
I mean,
be that'd be
I
be
think
cool.
good.
everyone does. A
I
Milan
think
derby would
yeah,
I don't
I
know
think
why
that's
I
fair.
didn't. Yeah.
Both Milans in there. That was in the back of my mind. I would like to see a Bayern Real. I would like to see that. I know you don't want to see that.
Actually, I'm really not afraid of Real Madrid at all. Honestly,
I want to get, and I know I don't want to waste all
Really,
these
I
good
actually,
matchups until like the final, but I don't know if we're talking about good matchups.
I mean,
I
Bayern,
that's the
we have our
problem.
full squad
I had
back.
the same thought process, but the thing is, there's so many like they're all good matchups. So it's
Yeah,
like I had the same. It's like, oh, I
Napoli.
want to
I would
hold up.
take because even Napoli, I would take Napoli against anybody as a good matchup.
Napoli's hot.
They're
Napoli is
very hot.
hot right now.
They're Napoli are for those of you who don't follow the Serie A, Napoli pretty much have the Serie A in the bag. It's not confirmed, but they have it in the bag. And even better, and I was saying this to Julian before the podcast started, even with Juventus's point deduction, they still would have a good lead on the title to the point where you can't even use that as an argument. So Napoli have been very solid this year, and yeah, you can use Frankfurt weren't exactly a Champions League favorite. Um, they've had some time in the Europa League. They're sixth in the Bundesliga. Uh, but Napoli, they're a great team right now, and you'd have to rate them. Favorites to
Man,
win though, at this point, do you have a favorite? Just one team, because this is tough with all
me,
these good teams. But one team that if you had to
man.
put your money on,
I mean, bro,
it's difficult. It's so difficult. There's a lot of teams here.
how can you not bet against Real? Like how can you go a team that's historically just loves this tournament, and just they own this tournament. Like let's be real, they own this.
You're
Fucking
right, but
tournament.
I
Like
could
this
see.
is theirs.
I mean, if you're a believer
And I
in
think
Bayern or
this is going to be
City,
their last hurrah.
if you believe in
I think this is
Bayern or
going to be
City,
Real
though,
Madrid's last hurrah.
I definitely see how you can bet against them. Um, I just, I'd have to say Bayern. I'd have to say Bayern are my favorites. Um, I
Here's
know
my thing. I
PSG
feel like
have
City.
failure in their history for Champions League, but they looked good against Paris. They didn't let up a goal in either leg. I mean, that's great. I
I
think
mean,
they
yeah,
have a.
Mbappe
I
was
think they're. I mean,
non-existent.
Bayern Munich. They have two of arguably very young, very good center backs, in Delict and Upamecano, both under 24 years old.
My thing is like I want to see City against tough competition. I think you muted
Yeah,
yourself, Adam.
I know.
And that's my thing. City loves to beat up on trash teams, and I want to see City like play somebody good.
I agree.
I think what's going to happen. I can see a Bayern City matchup. I see a Real Madrid Chelsea, and Real Madrid's going to thrash.
I think
Chelsea.
Chelsea. I mean, I think Chelsea beating Dortmund says more
If
about
you're
the Premier
Chelsea,
League than it does about Dortmund. I think the Premier League is more competitive than people think. I don't think Chelsea are that good though.
I think they're going to get bounced this round, no matter who they play, unless they play like a Benfica. Like I don't see them.
Yeah,
like
that's their
If you're
hope.
a Chelsea fan, the only thing you can hope, the only thing you hope for is you play a Benfica, because maybe you play a Napoli, but I mean I think Napoli's better than
or
Chelsea
one of the
right now.
Milans. You would hope you'd. I think if you're gonna if you want to draw an Italian team, you'd better hope to draw one of the Milans.
Well, no, if Chelsea gets either City, Madrid, or Bayern, they're done.
Yeah,
they're
definitely.
done.
Oh no, yeah, I don't think that's a doubt.
I think
that
you're going to get
that
one
they've done.
tough ass match. You're going to get one really good matchup, and then everything else I think is going to be kind of predictable. Like I think you might see a City Real Madrid. I think that's what you're going to get a rematch of last year, and then you're probably going to see a Bayern versus a Milan, a Napoli versus like a Chelsea, and then like a Milan versus a Benfica. Shit always works out like that, where you're going to get kind of like more predictable matchups, and then get like a really solid one, like a Real Madrid City one.
Yeah. Luckily, we're not going to have to wait
But
that long
I think
to see
City
draws because they are on Friday
I will
at
say
7
like
a.m.
I the
Eastern time.
reason I will say the reason why I like Madrid though, because I think Madrid not having to worry about the La Liga race is going to be and put all their efforts in the Champions League like they did well no they won last year. Well, yeah, they kind of had a sizable lead, so they were able to put a little bit more focus into Champions League. Like I just think Real Madrid, this is like their tournament. They're clearly fully focused on this one, and I just think they're gonna come out. I would love to see a Real Madrid Bayern final. Like that's
Yeah, that
that's
would
what I
be
want to
cool.
see.
That would be
Yeah.
cool, but that's why I said it's a matchup that I would like to see. So
I've been
Tyler,
listening.
now
I
that
just got on the
I know
phone. I'm
you were
sorry.
listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could tell you were listening. So we were just talking. So who is the team that you would take right now to win the whole thing?
I mean, not to sound biased, but you already know I gotta put my boys in Munich.
I picked Munich. I picked
All right,
Munich.
and
It's
this next,
not
all right,
biased.
here's a good thing for Tyler. Who do you not want to go up against, and who do you like? Who's your number one team you just do not want to go up against?
So going into this next round, hold on, let me pull up the thing again. Do you have it on the screen again? The teams that are advancing. I know it's both Milans,
both Milans,
Yeah.
Bayern,
Benfica.
Benfica, Chelsea, Napoli, Real Madrid, Manchester City.
So I think
Here, I have it. I have it
honestly,
right here.
so honestly, going off of who I don't want to face, I would say Napoli, and the reason why is Oshiman is playing out of his mind right now. I got to give him all the credit in the
He
world.
really
I mean,
is.
he's been linked to City right now too, actually, just based off of this season alone.
They need to
I
keep
don't know
their
if you
hands
guys
off.
even, yeah, I don't know
Enough.
if you guys even
City,
heard that, but yeah,
relax. You have enough.
City's
Holland
linked to
already broke your
Oshiman.
record, and the season's not over yet.
Yeah, so City's linked to Oshiman right now, and I think Bayern too would underestimate Napoli. I think that they would think it'd be like super easy, and then we may drop like one of the legs. Uh, usually us playing at Allianz in Munich, we never usually lose at home, but I think we could definitely drop a leg in Napoli. You know what I mean? But also that's
And
my
Napoli's an
main
interesting
thing.
choice.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's what I think. It's
but I don't disagree.
I'm
I
going
don't
based off of
disagree.
just I'm going just based off of form. They got Kavicha, Kafir playing out of his mind, Oshiman playing out
No,
of his mind.
Yeah, it's gonna be very exciting.
Yeah,
I can't wait for
but
the
this is the
draw on
best Napoli
Friday.
team in a while.
This
This
is
is the
gonna
best
yeah,
be
Napoli team in a
but the
while.
thing about Bayern too though is you have to look since the Champions League this season, we haven't even conceded one goal to anybody. We have all clean sheets through all of our Champions
Yeah,
League
I
games.
noticed. Yeah, that's what I
Our
said. That's
whole
why I like Bayern because I mean,
yeah.
3-0 aggregate victory
And
against
that was a tough group.
Paris.
Yeah. And our
Yeah,
That
whole
was a tough
lineup's
group.
back. And we did that without Mane and Mazurai. So Mane and Mazurai are back. Um
I mean, that
it
was
was
a
a very
group
tough
with
group. Inter
two
and
Musiala,
Barca.
guys,
Inter and
Inter
Barca.
and Barca.
yeah.
You had one
to
Musiala,
walkover
not
and
concede a
victory
goal.
up to Zen. I don't know how
yeah,
to
Musiala's
pronounce
playing
it,
out of
even though
his
I'm Polish.
mind.
I
Like
should.
I think Bayern's just so informed that I'm really not scared to play anybody. And honestly, Real
Yeah, that's
Madrid is
fair
one
enough.
that you never underestimate either. I mean, the most
Mhm.
Champions League titles in history. And their run last season was insane.
Yeah,
The
just
comebacks they were
incredible. Yeah.
doing,
No one picked them. Yeah,
the
Yeah.
comebacks they
I
were
think they're
doing and
stronger.
shit.
I think they're stronger. I think with Barca taking the league, I think they're fully focused on this.
Focused
now.
on
yeah,
and Ancelotti I mean he's like Pep, he's won it with multiple teams. He's been there plenty of times. He
Yeah,
knows what
that's what
to
he wants.
expect. But Real Madrid only beating Liverpool 1-0 in the Bernabeu is kind of that was kind of iffy to me. I just feel like Real Madrid's not playing to their full
But
potential right now.
you didn't think their first leg win at Anfield was convincing enough, a 5-2?
I mean, it was for sure, but I mean, I'm sorry, but you don't go to the opponent's field, thrash them, and then play to your home field and then not thrash them the same way. Like
Yeah,
it just,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know, but I think yeah, mine right now is definitely Napoli is the one I would want to avoid going into the next round. Like I said, just all their players are just playing like out of their mind. Kavicha, Sheila, and Oshiman are just probably, you can consider them to be the best duo in the world right now. They're playing like Benzema and Vinny Jr. last season. So, and I think Bayern would just underestimate them, thinking that they're just going to be pushovers. But
Yeah.
then again, we also haven't conceded a goal. We don't have Neuer the whole year, but I mean Mane and Azarai are back.
Sommer has been great.
Yeah, and Sommer's been phenomenal too. He really impressed me in the first leg against PSG. Mbappe was obviously like on the hunt for that goal, and he just couldn't find the back of the net because Sommer was just everywhere. So yeah, really, I'm not really worried about anyone other than really just Napoli.
Real quick, who do you think Chelsea makes it through?
Like,
at all?
to, I mean, obviously they made it through. They made it through to the next round. Like, what?
No, but I mean,
next round coming up.
Yeah, past this next round. You think
I think
only if they draw Benfica.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think the only way.
You think
I think
then?
the only way.
I think it's the only way.
Yeah, I think that's the only way. If they draw Benfica, I think that's the only way they go through. They did. I will say they did look good against Dortmund in that 2-0 win. I did watch that one. Compared to how they're playing in the Prem, which is absolute dog shit, in that Champions League game against Dortmund, they did play really, really good. But yeah, I think Benfica is the only team they could realistically beat. I think both Milans beat them, Napoli beats them, Man City obviously plays them in the league, and so Man City got their number already.
I agree.
Bayern,
LeBron
not
James
losing
soccer
to Chelsea.
is back.
I know, right?
And Real Madrid definitely ain't losing to fucking Stamford Bridge, Chelsea. So.
Yeah, that's everything I wanted to talk
thoughts?
about. I think we got everything. I don't really have anything else.
Any closing thoughts, Tyler?
No, not really. I think we covered a lot of good stuff today, and I think our predictions for the MLS matchups are going to be interesting to see too. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I'm goated. I'm six, so yeah.
all the games are on.
See how that is next week.
All the games are on Saturday. There's no.
I believe so.
Yeah, actually,
I don't like
believe
that.
so. I believe
Here, my final thoughts: separate the games some more. Don't put them all at 7:30. Give me some noon games. Give me some 4 o'clock games. Then give me night, and then give me 10:30, and then like a Sunday night game. That's all I want.
And give Android people an app. I don't have one, but please give them an app.
But anyways, I want to thank everybody for listening to episode 3 of Real Fans FC. You guys can follow us on all our platforms, all our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and anywhere you get your podcasts, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, so on and so forth. And we will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.